Hello everyone and welcome. Cara Melendi here with your cosmic update, and this is for November the 16th because today we have Venus, our goddess of love, of beauty, of prosperity, going direct, and Mercury, the messenger, retrograding. So happening on the same day as I do this video, Venus has already gone direct, and later today Mercury will take its turn to retrograde. And it's so rare to see these happening on the same day. Personal planets that both really kind of influence our day-to-day actions and how we feel. And I think we notice this the most like when a planet goes direct or when it retrogrades, and it's like it takes a moment to readjust to the energy again. But I think for so many people, and I know in my own life, this Venus retrograde, like there's a lot of downloads and lessons coming through over the course of like this past 6 weeks where Venus retrograded. And it's so interesting because I find in astrology we hear more about like the Mercury retrograde. And of course, Mercury governs our day-to-day communication, our day-to-day travel, and all those things that are really important. But a Venus retrograde, we feel so deeply because it is connected to our relationships, our values, our finances. It's so much of like how we feel as we go throughout our day. So say hi if you're joining me. Welcome. Feel free to share this video out. Hi, Tony. Hello, Goddess. Nasika, hello. And Lori. Hi, Teresa. Welcome. Sharon and Tara. So definitely say hi if you're jumping in. I think I saw Cynthia there as well. Sometimes the names will pop up and other times they don't. So say hi. So I can say hi back, and thank you for being here and hanging out today. First time here, welcome, Jillian. It is great to have you. So yes, so let's get back to this cosmic update and the amazing energy today, because this is actually, for many other reasons besides just Venus going direct and Mercury taking its turn to retrograde, it's so much Pisces energy today as well. And this really is the energy of like transcending our limitations and connecting to our higher self, and really being able to like channel and harness information from our higher self and from the spiritual realm, and really connecting to our intuitive gifts. So in astrology, to go back to Venus, since it is kind of in the spotlight today, going direct, it governs over like what we value in the world, how we show up in relationships. In our birth chart, the placement of Venus shows what we really love in the world, what we value in the world, and what we really need in our relationships. And that's in terms of like our friendships, our business collaborations, as well as romantic relationships. And it's going direct in its home sign of Libra. And that alone is really this reminder to enjoy the beauty that surrounds us, to like enjoy the pleasures of this physical world, and also to grow and expand through a space of love and through a space of joy, because Venus is also one of the embodiments of the divine feminine in astrology. In addition to like the moon also embodies that energy, the Cancerian zodiac embodies that as well. And as we like harness that divine feminine energy, it is a reminder to really like tap into our creative gifts, and that we can grow and that we can expand through this place of joy. And it's so interesting that as Venus goes direct, Mercury is retrograding, and Mercury like governing over our thoughts and our mind, whereas Venus is very much connected to the heart. So I think like the biggest lesson to kind of harness today as we step into this energy is really trusting our intuition to kind of pave the way for us and to move us forward, even if we don't like have all the details of how everything is going to pan out. Because when Mercury retrogrades, we can feel like, I don't really know the next steps to take. Is it the right time to make these big decisions? And with all this energy right now that's like pointing to the divine feminine, the goddess energy, it's kind of changing the way that we make decisions and trusting our intuition to be the guiding force, and that we don't always need to have it all lined up. We don't have to know all the data all the time. We just need to trust ourselves to take that first step. So let me know if this is resonating, and I'd love to hear from you as well. Like, what was the last 6 weeks while Venus was retrograding? What was that like for you? Did you find you were doing a lot of that inner work and reflecting and just examining like where you want to go in your life and looking at if your life is based on those core values? And I'm going to catch up in the comments here, so feel free to ask your questions as well. Oh, thank you, Nasika. Thank you. Hello, Tess. Teresa saying, yes, transcend the fair mind. Absolutely. Yeah. And, that's part of the calling that we're here to do, I feel. And the alignments today, as Mercury retrogrades, it's going to square Neptune in Pisces. So basically what all of that means, there's different ways to kind of dissect this. But how I see this is we really have a choice of whether we allow like those old programmings, that old belief system to kind of take over and govern our life and govern our decisions, or we can choose to transcend that. And Neptune is about that transcendence. And moment to moment, we have a choice of whether we fall back into those old patterns, those old ways of doing things, or we align with what our higher self already knows to be true and already knows what the right path is for us. So we're kind of like faced with this decision today as well, and it may like take a little while too to kind of adjust to this new energy. Again, anytime like planets go retrograde or direct, we feel it the most those first few days. So it's kind of like adjusting. And since the Venus retrograde was such a powerful time for so many people, like doing this reflection work of, am I feeling satisfied in my relationships? Am I opening up to receive what I want? Now, as it goes direct, it's really like this invitation to put those things into place, to really begin to make those changes in our life. And this is where we have to trust our heart to lead the way, trust our inner guidance system, and not worry about like having everything laid out, right? Mercury's going retrograde. It's okay. We don't need to know all the details in order to take that next step. So let me know if this is resonating. And say hi if you're just jumping on now. Hello, Angela. Elaine, love your lives. Oh, thank you so much. It's great to have you here. Welcome. Okay, and Monica's here as well. Hello. Air T, welcome. So really kind of keep that in mind in your life, because I think as Mercury is about to retrograde as well, and it's making this square over to Neptune, another way to really see this energy is to look at where we may be like holding ourselves back from allowing ourselves to move forward, and kind of making excuses around it, like reasons as to why we can't begin to move forward and align with our dreams today, or begin taking action toward our goals today. This square that's happening in the cosmos is like a point of tension. And anytime there's a point of tension, right, we have a choice. We either say, well, I'm not going to move forward because the path doesn't seem clear yet, or we transcend those fears and we trust the path will be revealed to us. So that's a big part of this, is like really just trusting that the answers will come through if you have the courage to really take those next steps and to apply some of the insights that you've been receiving over the time that Venus was retrograde. All those reflections now come into focus, and then you take that next step. Right, just scrolling down here. Jennifer finally managed to get you live. Yay. Awesome. Always fun to be here live, right? Kathy, definitely dealing with the new. Yes. Teresa, be the Joker, trust yourself. Yes. Yeah, we got to have that faith and that trust. And again, it's like moment to moment, that decision that we make. And there's just so many things in the cosmos right now that are like redirecting us to the divine feminine, to our intuition. And I think Mercury, so just to give some background on this, so Mercury does govern over the intellect. It's like how we learn. So in our birth chart, where Venus governs over what we value, our ability to receive, how we show love, how we show up in relationships, Mercury is the space of the intellect and the space of the mind. So it is all about how I learn new things, how I communicate my message. And in its like core essence, it's all about like getting all the details in place. But right now, Mercury is in Sagittarius, and that's where it's going to retrograde, is in Sagittarius. And Mercury in Sagittarius is about holding on to the larger vision. It's about not worrying about having all the details or having everything lined up, but it's about trusting our higher self. It's about knowing the difference between like the fear-based mind and truth. And as we really like learn to trust ourselves, it becomes so easy to see the difference. It becomes so easy to see that the fear-based mind is just old programming. It's just like the constant chatter in our mind, whereas the truth just feels more expansive. It feels aligned and it just feels right. So Mercury and Sagittarius, like in and of itself, whether it's retrograde or whether it's direct, is about like synthesizing those lessons basically, and trusting ourselves to kind of seek out that higher truth and not needing to have all the details, learning to know what it's like to trust our intuition as a path forward, and trusting our intuition to make decisions, and also, you know, being aware of what some of the shadow stuff may be around that, which is actually interesting, I think, when Mercury retrogrades in Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is an energy that can kind of be impulsive because it is so focused on the larger vision and where I'm going, and it doesn't really look at the details. It just kind of dives in and goes for it. So Mercury retrograding in this sign can actually be a really good way for us to know ourselves and really connect better and know, when am I just really being impulsive in my life, or when am I being called to make these decisions and called to make these changes because my intuition is speaking to me. And it's a very different energy. And I think that's one of the lessons we're going to step into now with this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, is knowing, like, where am I being impulsive in my life? Where am I actually not taking time to connect and see what's right for me? And on the other side of that, where may I be holding back and just coming up with different excuses or reasons as to why I can't move forward and make the changes that I know I'm being called to make? So it really is a powerful energy. Okay, just going to check on these comments here. So if you're joining, say hi, welcome, and let me know as well if you have any questions around this and how to kind of navigate or work with the energy right now of Mercury retrograde and Venus going direct. Tony, trying to trust the path will be revealed. Learning to surrender, it's hard. Yeah, it can be. It can be. It's like being okay with kind of surrendering the need to control everything. And I think that's part of stepping into the divine feminine. We also now have the North Node in Cancer. So as a collective, we're kind of learning to go along this path of being able to surrender, being able to trust. And it doesn't mean that we don't do our part within that, but it's very different than like I have to figure it all out myself, or I have to like force these things into place in my life. It is about trusting, and it's about trusting as well that if we're connected to our higher self, which is a choice we can make moment to moment, if we're connected to our intuition, then those answers will be revealed. And it's often not that the answers aren't coming through or that we're not being guided. It's that there's fear around trusting it, or that we've simply just practiced allowing the fear mind to take over. But thankfully, we can always choose again, right? Moment to moment is a new opportunity to begin to notice where I may not be trusting myself and how I can make that choice. And that's super powerful. Brooke has been feeling all of this. Yeah, it's so cool, right? Because if we're like very intuitive and we're connected to this energy, we feel it within us, right? Like we know these changes. And then when we look at the astrology behind it, it's like, oh, that's so cool. And it's just another reminder that we're all in this together. And even looking at our unique birth chart, like when we come in to this lifetime, we have a unique soul blueprint that gives you everything you need to really live in alignment with your soul this lifetime and do the mission that you're here to do. Like we have all that in our chart, and we have everything we need to overcome these challenges. So even like Venus now going direct and Mercury going retrograde, like for us all, this is happening in a certain place in our chart. So it's really neat that we all we experience these shifts together, and there's overall themes that we go through as a collective. And then at the same time, it's like personalized as well. And we experience it all different. Like the Venus retrograde for some I know brought major changes in relationships, like some relationships coming to an end, like business collaborations changing, but know that as things like come to an end, they've served their purpose. So it's also about like trusting that. And then it's, you know, returning to, as I like release the old, I'm creating space for the new. And that has been such an ongoing theme this year as well, with Jupiter and Scorpio, all the planets taking their turn to retrograde. It's been this major opportunity to like look at what we're carrying with us from the past that isn't serving us anymore, and what we need to like release in our life in order to create space to call in the new. So it's been an interesting journey this year, and it's really just like setting us up in a big way for what's coming in 2019, which is going to be more forward motion. This year really has been a time of like looking at, what do I want to take with me on this journey? Am I really fully in alignment, or what do I need to do to get there? And Monica's been feeling lots of upgrades in my DNA lately, been noticing new connections. And my synapses, I love that. Yeah, as we shift our energy, as we practice a new belief, we're actually rewiring our brain, and then it becomes easier. And I always like, I say this to my clients all the time, like when we're developing a new habit, it does feel uncomfortable at first because it's out of our comfort zone, right? We're not used to doing it. And like part of our body even will want to rebel against it because it wants to like keep the status quo, even if it's not serving us. But that's where we have to connect to our higher self, the truth, and choose that as I consciously put this new routine in place, as I consciously practice a new set of beliefs, a new way of showing up, it becomes the default. And then eventually it's just easy, right? It's like new synapses have formed. It's a new energy that we're embodying, and it just becomes natural. Okay, let's see here. Jillian calls it emotional purging. Yes. Oh, hello, Goddess Kelly. Welcome, welcome. So I also want to remind everyone as well that I now have my Goddess Sisterhood open. Perfect timing for all this divine feminine energy that's coming in. And this will really create that space for you to truly align with where your soul is guiding you. It'll help you release that fear-based egoic mind and reconnect to your truth. And when you are in that space again, it's like you just see things in a new way. You tap into the realm of infinite possibilities, and what you're activating in your life becomes different. So your experience shifts. So definitely send me a message if you want to get in on this amazing sisterhood, this amazing space for co-creating magic with the universe and stepping in and integrating these changes that have been coming through in your life. So welcome to those who have just joined. I've got my laptop here on the side with a chart. So I'm just going to bring that up here and see what else, see what other cosmic news to pass along. So some interesting aspects that Venus is going to be making as well. And one of them is the square to the nodes. So in astrology, the nodes govern like the direction that we're being called toward, which is the north node, and the south node is our karma. That's one way to see it anyway. It's like where we've been, some of the lessons we're still processing through that. It's also like some of the strengths and gifts and that we've already developed that we can actually use to help us. So anytime a personal planet is like aspecting the nodes, this is a change in our destiny, or this involves working with some of the karma. So we're really kind of approaching that in our life right now, where we're being faced with like, what is the direction that we want to go? And in many ways, I feel it's like we're being realigned to what we already know in like our heart and soul we're here to do. So it's kind of like realigning with our destiny, realigning with our soul mission. And then the question is, am I going to be like willing to like fully step up and just embrace that and own that and have the courage to follow through in my life? And again, trusting, I don't need to know all the details, right? Mercury retrograde, I don't need to know how it's all going to pan out, to have faith and to take that next step. And also with Venus, it's opposing Uranus as well. So this is a neat opposition. And that's signaling like a change and transformation as well, but in a way that's progressing us toward the path that is most aligned. So it's really interesting when we see like how this is all coming together. And then not to mention today, like the Pisces energy. We recently had Mars, the planet that drives our actions, move into Pisces. So it's like let your intuition guide you. Allow yourself to be like gentle. Don't feel like you have to will things into place, like you have to force them, but be open to other ways of manifesting. Be open to really learning how to harness and direct your energy. And this is like a collective lesson that we're really working with right now, and throughout 2019 that we're really stepping into as we embrace the shift of the goddess and divine feminine energy. It's like harnessing that, looking at new ways of doing business, looking at new ways of approaching relationships, looking at new ways of manifesting things in my life, and trusting and believing that it gets to be easy, that it gets to be fun, that I'm a natural creator. And yeah, just lots of amazing shifts for sure. Teresa really needs to hear this. Everything in divine timing, right? I'm glad that you're here. Vanna, embrace the knowing and ease into allowing blessings. Yeah, we have to. And that's, you know, what Venus reminds us to do as well. Venus is also about what we're able to receive in our life. And we only get what we have space to receive. If there's resistance there, if there's fears there, we don't allow it to flow in. So even like harnessing this energy of Venus, it's like allow it to expand your capacity to receive what you desire. And a lot of that's just affirming, I get to receive it, I'm worthy of receiving it, and getting that clarity on what it is that you do want to call in, right? Mercury and Sagittarius, get that big vision laid out. Don't worry about all the details. They will reveal themselves as you have the courage to hold the vision and as you have the courage to take those next steps. Hi, Amy. Welcome, Goddess. All right. So let me see this chart here, and if there's any other like major things. It's so funny. I have my computer, and then I've got my laptop here on the side because my iPad isn't working. I think I've just overloaded it with stuff, and it needs to be cleared out too. Okay. And the moon in Pisces today too. So some of the shadow side of how you may be like experiencing this, it can be kind of like a spaced out energy. Pisces is very much in the dream world. I think I said in the title, like transcending the fear mind. Pisces is about transcendence. It's about knowing that, yeah, I'm a human, but first I'm a soul, first I'm a spirit, right? And like it transcending some of the limitations around the mind and our reality. But it can also present as just kind of feeling like in a haze, right? And not quite sure. So be patient with yourself today, like nurture yourself. And again, I guess just going back to that idea that it's okay if I can't see it, you know, all clearly of how it's going to unfold. I trust that it will, and because I trust myself. So it's really coming back to that today. Thank you so much for the hearts and the likes. I appreciate you all. So if you would like to join the Goddess Sisterhood and, you know, just really learn how to harness this energy, how to work with this day to day in your life, and have that support from a community that helps you stay connected to your higher self when any of those fears come in or those old belief patterns come in, and where you can just realign and where you can learn how to access and like that connection for yourself and stay connected to the wisdom of your higher self, to the truth, because it's in that space that there are no limitations around what you can create. There are no limitations around what you can manifest. And this is something that I continue to learn by spending time in the space of the Akashic Records, is there are infinite possibilities moment to moment, and we also have the ability to like tap into any of those possibilities by our frequency and by how we're showing up. And as we are able to begin to like recognize the difference of when we're in an old story or an old set of beliefs, as opposed to like when we're actually in alignment with that truth and with our higher self, everything shifts. And it's from that space of like connecting to your higher self that it's easy to lock in these different frequencies. So can you put this link in the chat? Let me see, I should be able to here. Definitely make sure you get it either way. And there's a really good deal on this right now. So spiritualgoddesses.com. There we go. Yes. I'd love to see you there, Airty. It's Beautiful space, amazing women, and just all the support you need to co-create magic with the universe. And there is astrology in that space. There's the Akashic records, but at its core, it's just learning how to harness and stay connected to the wisdom of your higher self and live from that space. Live from that space of infinite possibilities. Live from the space of any desire that you want to manifest and create. You have within you the ability to achieve that. You are welcome, Mirti. All right, so take time today, go within, get clear on the direction you want to go, and then take inspired action to get there. A spin on Mercury retrograde. Don't use this as a time to say you have to hold off or you're not going to make these changes in your life that you know it's time to make. Don't use it as an excuse to do that. Use Mercury retrograde as a time to trust that you already know the next best step for you, and you're going to harness the courage to take action and do that. And that's a powerful way to work with Mercury retrograding in Sagittarius. You are welcome, Monica. Thank you, goddesses, for hanging out today. Natalie's loving the vibes this week. What a shift. Beautiful time for creating. Oh my goodness. We've had like so many shifts happening in a short amount of time, like the nodes changing, right? North Node in Cancer, the path that we're going on as a collective individually has shifted. We had like Mars shift this week, Venus go direct, Mercury retrograde. It's just like major transition. All the while we're working up to the full moon as well. So it's a powerful time. Yeah, it's a powerful time to just really reconnect with what you want to create and trust you have what it takes to manifest that. Okay, sending lots of love and light to you all. I hope to see you in the Goddess Sisterhood. So I did post that link in the chat. It'll probably get lost though with all the comments. So if you can't find it, just send me a message and I'd be happy to send you the link where you can join us in this uplifting, inspiring space. And otherwise, sending lots of love, and I will see you all soon. Bye.